Scene 5. A hall in Capulet's house, the scene of the party.
Where's Pot Pan that he helps not to take away? He's shift a trencher, he's scrape a trencher.
When good manners shall lie all in one or two men's hands, and they unwashed too, 'tis a foul thing.
Away with the joint stools, remove the court cupboard, look to the plate. Good thou, save me a piece of marchpane, and as thou lovest me, let the porter let in Susan Grindstone and Nell. Anthony and Pot Pan!
Aye, boy, ready!
You are looked for and called for, asked for and sought for in the great chamber.
We cannot be here and there too. Cheerly, boys, be brisk a while, and the longer liver take all.
Welcome, gentlemen. Ladies that have their toes unplagued with corns will have a bout with you. My mistresses, which of you all will now deny to dance? She that makes dainty, she, I'll swear, hath corns. I come near you now. Welcome, gentlemen. I have seen the day that I have worn a visor and could tell a whispering tale in a fair lady's ear, such as would please. 'Tis gone, 'tis gone, 'tis gone. You are welcome, gentlemen. Come, musicians, play. A hall, give room and foot it, girls. All light, you knaves, and turn the tables out. Ooh, and quench the fire. The room has grown too hot. Ah, Sarah, this unlooked-for sport comes well. Nay, sit, good cousin Capulet, for you and I are past our dancing days. How long is now since last yourself and I were in a mass?
Our Lady, 30 years.
What, man? 'Tis not so much, 'tis not so much. 'Tis since the nuptial Ducentio, come Pentecost as quickly as it will, some 25 years, and then we mass.
'Tis more. 'Tis more. His son is elder, sir. His son is 30.
Will you tell me that? His son was but a ward 2 years ago.
Okay, guys, so this is the beginning of Act 1, Scene 5. We see a kind of an exchange between the servants, and then we kind of flash to Lord Capulet mingling, circulating the room, teasing his guests, joking around with them. I want to just kind of give you a heads up that we're about to get to kind of a more serious section of the play. Romeo and Juliet are about to meet. After that, pretty quickly after that, follows the balcony scene. And so we're about to start getting to some more serious scenes. And so Shakespeare, one of the things that he tends to do kind of often is he will use his servants for comic relief. And so it kind of eases some of the tension. So if you'll recall, at the end of Scene 4, Romeo says, "My mind misgives some consequence yet hanging in the stars," and basically says that he's afraid going to the party is going to lead in his untimely death. And then for Scene 5, we immediately have this exchange between the servants and Lord Capulet kind of going around mingling with his guests. So if there was any tension, we've kind of lightened that up now. You know, the comic relief will come in a couple of different times throughout this play, and typically it is the servants that are providing that. So as I've mentioned, you know, Lord Capulet is a very affable host. He is doing his job, making sure everybody has a good time. He's teasing the women, saying that if they aren't dancing, people are going to assume that they have basically really ugly feet, that they've got corns on their feet and these growths and sores and things like that. And he runs into what is a friend or maybe even a cousin of his, Lucentio, and they talk about how long it's been since they were young and participating in the masquerade portion of the party, and it's been about 30 years. Now, we finally come to the moment where Romeo sees Juliet for the first time. And I want you to imagine kind of like a scene out of a movie where the crowds part and he sees her and he is just instantly in love. So there's this concept of love at first sight, but at the same time we also have to ask ourselves the question, is it love or is it merely lust? Because when Romeo was in love with Rosaline, he talked so much about her beauty, okay, and never about her substance. When he sees Juliet, her beauty is also the first thing that strikes him. So let's kind of watch this unfold.
What lady is that which doth enrich the hand of yonder knight?
I know not, sir.
Oh, she doth teach the torches to burn bright. It seems she hangs upon the cheek of night, like a rich jewel in an Ethiop's ear. Beauty too rich for use, for earth too dear. So shows a snowy dove trooping with crows, as yonder lady o'er her fellows shows. The measure done, I'll watch her place of stand, and touching hers, make blessed my rude hand. Did my heart love till now? Forswear its sight, for I ne'er saw true beauty till this night.
This by his voice should be a Montague. Fetch me my rapier, boy. What, dares the slave come hither covered with an antic face to fleer and scorn at our solemnity? Now by the stock and honor of my kin, to strike him dead I hold it not a sin.
How now, kinsman? Wherefore storm you so?
Uncle, this is a Montague, our foe. A villain that is hither come in spite to scorn at our solemnity this night.
Young Romeo, is it?
'Tis he, that villain Romeo.
Content thee, gentle coz, let him alone. Bears him like a portly gentleman, and to say truth, Verona brags of him to be a virtuous and well-governed youth. I would not, for the wealth of all this town, here in my house do him disparagement. Therefore be patient. Take no note of him. It is my will, the which, if thou respect, show a fair presence and put off these frowns, an ill-beseeming semblance for a feast.
It fits when such a villain is a guest. I'll not endure him.
He shall be endured. What, good boy, I say he shall go too. Am I the master here, or you? Go too. You'll not endure him? God shall mend my soul. You make a mutiny among my guests. You will set cock-a-hoop. You'll be the man.
Why, uncle, 'tis a shame.
Go too. You are a saucy boy. Is it so indeed? This trick may chance to scathe you. I know what. You must contrary me. Mary, 'tis time. Well said, my heart. You are a princox. Go. Be quiet, or more light! More light! For shame, I'll make you quiet. What? Cheerily, my heart!
Patience perforce with willful choler meeting make my flesh tremble in their different greeting. I will withdraw, but this intrusion shall, now seeming sweet, convert to bitter gall.
Okay, so Romeo sees Juliet for the first time on page 31, and as I said, it's like they're across the dance floor from each other, and it's kind of like the crowds part, and all of a sudden he spots her, and he says, "Oh, she doth teach the torches to burn bright," and talks about how beautiful she is. And then I think it's interesting in line 50, it says, "So shows a snowy dove trooping with crows, as yonder lady or her fellows show." So remember that line where Benvolio previously said, "I will make thee think thy swan a crow"? It has happened. Romeo did not believe it was possible, but he says that Juliet is a dove walking amongst the crows. And so there's the symbolism between the white and the dark, but also the dove and the crow, and the dove is the symbol of purity and innocence and beauty, and she's walking around with a bunch of crows. He says later on in line 55, "I never saw true beauty till this night." Now, immediately after that, we can kind of figure that Tybalt walks by Romeo or something like that and overhears his voice, and he recognizes Romeo as a Montague and is automatically just enraged, and this is an insult, and how dare he come here, and he will pay for this, and I'm going to go tell Lord Capulet. So Tybalt is planning on killing Romeo, basically. He says, "Now by the stock and honor of my kin, to strike him dead I hold it not a sin." So he is enraged and talks to Lord Capulet about it, And Lord Capulet just kind of says, you know, he bears him like a portly gentleman, like he seems dignified. And to say, in line 70, Verona brags of him to be a virtuous and well-governed youth. So Romeo has a very positive reputation throughout Verona. And Lord Capulet is willing to overlook, you know, the fact that he's a Montague because he doesn't want to disturb the party. He doesn't want to start a fight. He doesn't want to ruin everybody's fun with the feud. This makes Tybalt even angrier. And he says he will not be endured. Basically like, no, I'm not going to let this stand. He has to pay for coming here. And so Lord Capulet basically puts him in his place and says, I'm the boss. I'm the head of the family. You will do as I say. Who do you think you are? So Tybalt finally kind of acquiesces and agrees to let Romeo be for now. And the last thing he says, lines 96 and 97, I will withdraw, but this intrusion shall, now seeming sweet, convert to bitterest gall. So he's going to let it go for now, but he says ultimately Romeo is going to pay for this. He will not get away with basically crashing the party.
If I profane with my unworthiest hand this holy shrine, the gentle fine is this: my lips, two blushing pilgrims, ready stand to smooth that rough touch with a tender kiss.
Good pilgrim, you do wrong your hand too much. Which mannerly devotion shows in this? For saints have hands that pilgrims' hands do touch, and palm to palm is holy palmer's kiss.
Have not saints lips, and holy palmers too?
Aye, pilgrim, lips that they must use in prayer.
Oh, then, dear saint, let lips do what hands do. They pray. Grant thou, lest faith turn to despair.
Saints do not move. They'll grant for prayer's sake.
Then move not, while my prayer's effect I take. Thus from my lips, by thine, my sin is purged.
Then have my lips the sin that they have took.
Sin from my lips? Oh, trespass sweetly urged. Give me my sin again.
You kiss by the book.
Madam, your mother craves a word with you.
What is her mother?
Mary, bachelor. Her mother is the lady of the house, and a good lady, and a wise, and a virtuous. I nursed her daughter that you talked withal. I tell you, he that can lay hold of her shall have the chinks.
Is she a Capulet? Oh, dear account, my life is my foe's debt.
Away, be gone. The sport is at the best.
So I fear the more is my unrest.
Nay, gentlemen, prepare not to be gone. We have a trifling, foolish banquet towards. Hmm? Who, is even so? Why then, I thank you all. I thank you, honest gentlemen. Good night. More torches here. Come on then, let's to bed. Ah, sir, by my faith, it waxes late. I'll to my rest.
Come hither, nurse. What is yon gentleman?
The son and heir of old Tiberio.
What's he that now is going out of door?
Marry, that, I think, be young Petruchio?
What's he that follows there, that would not dance?
I know not.
Go ask his name. If he be married, my grave is like to be my wedding bed.
His name is Romeo, and a Montague, the only son of your great enemy.
My only love, sprung from my only hate, too early seen unknown, and known too late. Prodigious birth of love it is to me that I must love a loathed enemy.
What's this? What's this?
A rhyme I learnt even now of one I danced withal.
Juliet!
Anon! Anon! Come, let's away. The strangers all are gone.
And
Act 2.
And that is the end of Act 1. So let's kind of go back through pages 32 and 33, and then we will be done with Act 1. So Romeo and Juliet have made their way from opposite corners of the dance floor, I imagine, kind of to the middle of the dance floor. And they meet each other, And basically Romeo holds Juliet's hand and kisses her hand and compares her to this holy shrine that he has made a pilgrimage toward, or a long journey. In different religions take pilgrimages, and so they might travel 2,000 miles to go visit a shrine, and so it's considered a large honor, and it's something that most people only do maybe once or twice in their lifetime. It's a very spiritual experience, and people gain a lot from that. So he is comparing Juliet to the shrine that pilgrims travel to. He has already set her up on this huge pedestal. She is put up there with gods and goddesses and things like that, and he is afraid that by kissing her hand that he has taken some of her, I don't know, he says that he has profaned her, that he has polluted her beauty or something like that. And so he's basically flirting with her. And she says, saints have hands that pilgrims' hands do touch, and palm to palm is holy palmer's kiss. So if you were to put your palms together, then it would look like you were praying. And he says, well, have not saints' lips and holy palmers too? And so again, they're flirting. And he says, well, then let lips do what hands do. And he kisses her. Now, once he kisses her, and he says, thus from my lips by thine my sin is purged, and then he kisses her, it's as if by kissing her, she is washing away his sin. Okay, that is how infatuated with her he is. He's basically comparing her to, a god or a goddess that can take away his sins. And so as soon as he kisses her, she says, well, in kissing me, you've transferred your sin to my lips. You better kiss me again and take your sin back, because I don't want your sin. And so she's flirting back with him, and he kisses her again. And keep in mind, they just met. This is not, some long romance. They have just met on the dance floor. Evidently, they're both very attracted to each other, and so they have now kissed twice. Consider this. Do they even know the other person's name? No, they don't, because on page 33, everybody is kind of filing out, leaving the party. It's winding down, and Juliet is standing with the nurse, and she's kind of, oh, who's that guy over there? And the nurse will say who it is, Tiberio. And who's that other guy over there? Well, I think that's young Petruchio. And so finally, Juliet actually gets around to what she really wants to know, and finds out that it is Romeo, and that he is a Montague. And she says, my grave is like to be my wedding bed. She already feels as if she might as well die, because she has found this man that she loves, but he is a Montague and she cannot be with him. And further up on page 33, Romeo says, "O dear account, my life is my foe's debt." They both go to the extreme of, my life is in her hands. I might as well be dead because we can't be together. A couple other things I want to point out, and then we will be done. So there's several, we've talked about the palmers, the pilgrims, the praying. All of these different religious metaphors kind of show us that he worships her. It shows us his devotion and the deepness, or at least, how deep he believes his feelings are. But one line that I really always kind of chuckle at, in line 116, after they kiss for the second time, Juliet says, "You kiss by the book." Now, in the Holt literature book, it kind of interprets this two different ways. Either Romeo kisses like he's done it before and it was really great, and it's like he's an expert at it, or which is kind of what this book goes properly, or she's kind of teasing him a little bit, and it's as if he's only read about kissing, And so I think that is kind of interesting. I'm sure she meant, it was so great. You were really good at it. But part of me always likes to think that she's giving him a hard time and teasing him a little bit about it. At the top of page 33, line 124, the nurse is talking to Romeo and says, I tell you, he that can lay hold of her shall have the chinks. If you look in the margin, you'll see that the chinks is money. So she's pointing out that Juliet is very wealthy, and whoever marries her is going to get a large dowry, a large payment upon their marriage. And so it shows us kind of what the nurse values. When she was talking about Paris, she valued physical appearance. He's a man of wax. He's so handsome. Verona hath not such a flower. But now that she's talking to Romeo, she talks about money. So she's very materialistic, very superficial. She doesn't look deeper to the personality and who that man is. It's more about his appearance and his money. And then the final thing that I want to point out, line 147 through 150, says, my only love sprung from my only hate, too early seen unknown, and known too late. Prodigious birth of love it is to me that I must love a loathed enemy. Juliet starts speaking in rhyming couplets. Again, why? Well, in this case, it's to show the intensity of her feelings. Also, maybe to demonstrate that internal conflict, her emotions in this moment. She loves Romeo, but she knows that they can't be together because they are enemies. And it is so unlucky. Prodigious birth of love it is to me. It is not, it's star-crossed lovers. Fate is against them. What are the odds of her falling in love with the one man at the party that she can't be with? So, and that is the end of Act 1. Thank you.